The time is 1 o'clock from Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. First, the news headlines. House of Representatives confirm more resignations from Nigerian Army. NLC threatens to picket filling stations hoarding petrol. On the foreign scene, President Biden promises vaccines will be available for every U.S. adult by end of May. In sports, FIFA sends Zamalek last warning about possible relegation over Akiampong controversy. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. The House of Representatives has confirmed that 386 soldiers resigned from the Nigerian Army in the second quarter of 2020, which is well over the 365 figures previously assumed. The House, however, stated that the resignations were not related to the ongoing war against insurgency in the Northeast. The approval of the voluntary disengagement of the 356 soldiers was contained in a 17-page circular from former Chief of Army Staff Tuku Buratai, signed by Brigadier General T.E. Gagariga for the Army Chief. At the plenary on Tuesday, the House considered and adopted a report by the Committee on Army chaired by Mr. Abdurazak Namdas.
After 10 years, once you serve after 10 years, you have the right to resign from the Army. Not only 365 soldiers that were actually voluntarily resigned, about 386 of them resigned. And we discovered that the issues is just about welfare. And in our recommendations, we stated that to avoid mass resignation from the Army, there should be effective monitoring or follow-up in the delivery of welfare packages in all Army formations to ensure that they reach all the beneficiaries in a fair and equitable manner.
The committee also noted that discharge from service on medical grounds could either be voluntary or compulsory. Former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to include opposition parties and the international community in the ongoing fight against insecurity in Nigeria. Dr. Saraki stated this while speaking with newsmen shortly after he met with former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo behind closed doors at his penthouse residence located within the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, OOPL, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Emerging from the over 2-hour closed-door meeting, Saraki said that the fight against insurgency was beyond the capacity of President Buhari and the ruling All Progressives Congress. He urged the president to carry along the opposition parties, international friends, and other stakeholders in finding a lasting solution to the insecurity and other challenges confronting the nation. He also charged political leaders to shelve their ambition and selfish interest and come together at a round table to discuss and find a solution to the country's challenges. The acrimonious relationship between the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, and his Bauchi State counterpart, Senator Bala Mohammed, has been amicably resolved. According to reports, the conflict was resolved in Port Harcourt following the intervention of River State Governor Nyesom Wike and Governor Ahmed Fintiri of Adamawa State. Briefing journalists at the meeting, which held at Governor Wike's private residence at Rumekberikom, Obio, Akwa local government area of the state, Mohammed said the feud between him and Otom over herders Fulani profiling was regrettable.
We felt that it is time for us to put this thing behind us, because even though we have reconciled, we have agreed, and we know the follies involved, and we even made several statements in the media that this is not a personal issue, it is not a personal attack, it is the issue of personal differences that has come to the public, and that we don't mean to divide the country, to divide our people. We are still friends and brothers, and that we will move forward because most of those issues are fully resolved and agreed with. I want to seize the opportunity to tell Nigerians that whatever misconception that is there, that me and my brother, Governor Otom, are having problems, or with anybody in Nigeria, is not true.
On his part, Governor Otom thanked Wike and Fintiri for arranging the meeting, where it was agreed that the outburst between him and his Bauchi State counterpart was not needed.
We have come to the conclusion that our outburst was not needed. As governors, we happen to be members of the Governors Forum in Nigeria, and we happen to be members of National Economic Council, and we happen to be members of National Council of States. So as leaders in this country who are privileged, we should be able to discuss our matters before taking it to the public. And we accept that. We have accepted that, yes, it was wrong for us to have that kind of outburst that went out. But as from today, we have learned. We're all fallible human beings, and we're subject to mistakes. And so when we make mistakes, it is a plus for us when we correct them. And I think moving forward, we shall live together. The Fulani and the Tiv people have cohabited together for a very long time, and there is no issue whatsoever.
In his remarks, Wike thanked Otom and Mohammed for amicably resolving their dispute.
Let me use the opportunity to say that I thank the governor of Bauchi, the governor of Benue State, for listening to my brother, the governor of Adamawa, and my humble self, for us to meet and see how some of those perceived differences are sorted out. And we give God the glory today that those differences have been sorted out. We are members of one political party. Like what Governor Bauchi and Governor Benwe said, we don't want the inefficiency. We don't want the incapacity of the federal government of not handling the issue of security in the country to rub off on us. Everybody knows that the federal government has failed in providing security to this country.
Politician and publisher of online news platform Sahara Reporters Omoyele Sowore was accompanied to the Magistrates Court in Wuse Zone 2, Abuja yesterday by a man in a red and black striped sleeveless knee-length dress and a matching cap. The man, who did not reveal his name, was among Sowore's supporters who were in court to witness proceedings in his trial, along with 4 others, on a 3-count charge bordering on conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and incitement. The man was described as Sowore's spiritual advisor. Dress had cowries, snail shells, and the small head of a fox emblazoned on it. Addressing journalists, the defendant's lawyer says Nigeria has no adopted form of religion. Therefore, Sowore is within his rights to come to court with his chief priest.
Nigeria has no adopted state religion. So if he decides to have a traditional, or if he decides to worship Sango or Ogun or whatever God decides to worship, and decides to have his chief priest in the court as we have him today, I think it's within his rights to do so, because in Nigeria we don't have a state religion. So traditional religion is also permissible and allowed under our constitution. To very serious matters, very serious business of court today. The states commenced a proper trial today. They called the first witness who came to court to testify against the Nigerian states in a manner that is unprecedented. The trial has commenced. The case was adjourned till 7th of May 2021 for constitution of hearing. So we're back on that day to continue the case.
Before adjourning further proceedings till May 7th this year, Chief Magistrate Mabel Shegun Bello varied the conditions attached to the bail earlier granted to the 2nd to 5th defendants by granting them permission to travel outside Abuja until the next adjourned date. The National Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has called on the National Assembly to support the Commission in creating additional polling units in the country. Yakubu spoke when he made a presentation on the state of voter access to polling units in Nigeria to the lawmakers at the National Assembly. He lamented that no additional polling units have been created in the last 25 years, a situation that has made existing polling units to be overcrowded during voting. He said that the right of the people to vote must be complemented with access to vote.
By 2023, the voter population may hit 100 million. That is twice the projection made in 1996 for the number of polling units has remained the same, no change. So we want the National Assembly to know that. Number two, the National Assembly should know that the Commission is making efforts to build a national consensus to solve the crisis, learning from previous unsuccessful attempts. And then we want the National Assembly to support the Commission to convert the existing polling units to, existing voting points to polling units and to relocate some of them to underserved areas. And we want the National Assembly to appeal to all stakeholders, whether they are members of the National Assembly or not, to help depoliticize the issues involved as the crisis affects all parts of the country. It's not just about one part of the country or the other.
Senate President Ahmad Lawan, in his remarks, assured the chairman of INEC and Nigerians that the National Assembly would support the commission to provide a better voting environment for voters in the country. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has threatened to picket filling stations that hold fuel as scarcity bites harder. NLC issued the threat yesterday in Abuja at the end of its virtual National Executive Council meeting. At a press briefing in Abuja, NLC President Ayuba Waba said the meeting deliberated on three major issues bordering on alleged plan to move the national minimum wage from exclusive legislative list to concurrent list, establishing state judiciary councils through constitution amendment, and tackling prevailing hoarding of petrol by marketers in major cities of the country. The NEC urged relevant regulatory agencies of government to arrest the growing queues, warning that the situation could spread to other cities soon if urgent steps are not taken. He hinted of NLC's readiness to protest as from March 10th, 2021, the attempt at moving the national minimum wage law from exclusive list to the concurrent legislative list. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 479 new cases of coronavirus, bringing the total number of infections in Nigeria to 156,496. The NCDC disclosed the figure on its official Twitter handle on Tuesday. The health agency recorded additional 8 COVID-19 related deaths in the past 24 hours, raising the total number of fatalities to 1,923 since February 27, 2020, when the index case was reported. The NCDC stated that the 479 new infections were reported across 21 states and the Federal Capital Territory, which had 40. Lagos State recorded 153 new cases, but no death. Other states which recorded new COVID-19 infections were Enugu with 75, Rivers 50, Kaduna 18, Ebonyi 17, Plateau 17, Edo 17, Borno 16, and Oyo with 12. It's still the 1 p.m. news on Splash 105.5 FM. Still ahead. President Biden promises vaccines will be available for every U.S. adult by end of May. In sports, FIFA sends Zamalek last warning about possible relegation over Akiampong controversy. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories, so please stay with us.
Some energy drinks promise power, but are more like this. What you need is this. New Predator Energy Drink. Rule your kingdom. Now sells for only 200 naira.
1960 bets don't return with bigger VCO as they don't arrange new management. They don't come back better and stronger. Then they pay commission to their agents' bank account and winnings to their customers. Sharply. No delay. You can do football or better games plus live bet jackpot for inside 1960 bets. Visit their website on top www.1960bets.com. 1960 bets. Play and win.
Sweetheart, you know I have just been paid for the last project I handled. And I really want to invest the money this time.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea, my love. Then Fresh Farms is your best option.
Fresh Farms?
In fact, you have access to your dashboard and you can monitor your investment on pepper, cassava, tomato, yam, and many other agricultural products. Fresh Farms is our main goal is to provide you fresh
cashew farming, tomato and pepper farming, ensuring food surplus for we nation, Niger, Fresh Farms, provide fresh food.
Invest in any of our farm produce today and get amazing return on your investment. For inquiry, please call 0907 361
or visit our website today at www.freshfarms.ng. Fresh Farms, spreading freshness.
Welcome back to the news on Splash 105.5 FM. Now turning to the foreign scene. President Joe Biden has said the U.S. will have enough coronavirus vaccines for every adult by the end of May. This will be 2 months earlier than previously expected, but Mr. Biden said the vaccination drive must be extended to and people convinced to take it. He warned people to stay vigilant because this fight is far from over, with new variants a major concern. His caution is at odds with some states which are relaxing restrictions in order to boost their economies. Although there has been a sharp fall in cases since the start of the year, in some areas that drop has been leveling off, fueling fears of another wave. Brazil has recorded its highest daily number of coronavirus deaths since the pandemic began. Based on data released late on Tuesday, the data showed 1,641 people died within the last 24-hour period. The previous daily high was 1,595 on July 29. Brazil has recorded a total of 257,361 deaths linked to COVID-19. Almost 60,000 new infections were recorded in the Tuesday figures, bringing the total number of cases the country has seen to more than 10.6 million. Only the United States and India have recorded more infections. Brazil, which started its vaccination campaign in January, is one of the worst hit countries by the pandemic. Finally, in sports news, FIFA has given Egyptian football powerhouse Zamalek a 30-day ultimatum to pay their former player Benjamin Akyampong over $1 million. FIFA said that Zamalek will be handed a transfer ban at the end of March unless the Cairo club pays Akyampong the money as instructed by the Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS, in December. Akyampong, born on 15th of May 1990, is a Ghanaian professional footballer who plays as a striker and is also a member of the Ghana national team. According to the FIFA media outlet, after one successful season with El Dakhliya, Akyampong earned himself a move to Zamalek. Following his departure, the striker filed a complaint against Zamalek to CAS, claiming that he has had several outstanding salary payments, and the court eventually ruled in his favor. Just before we go, a recap of the headlines. House of Representatives has confirmed more resignations from Nigerian Army. NLC has threatened to picket filling stations hoarding petrol. President Biden has promised vaccines will be available for every U.S. adult by end of May. FIFA has sent Zamalek last warning about possible relegation over Akyampong controversy. For more details on the news, visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS, BlackBerry World, and Google Play Store to listen live, get news update, opinion poll, and also report an event live to us through the iReport feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.5, then click to download. We have now come to the end of the news on Splash 105.5 FM, the integrity station, and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawowo, assisted by Chinwe Churchill. I am Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news.